Hey everybody, a good Tuesday morning. Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich here. Another warm one today, but we've got a cold front on the way, and that cold front is going to bring some changes, mainly in the form of some slightly cooler temperatures. But I'll caution you, this is cool for late April. So high temperatures in the lower 70s as opposed to the low 80s, technically cooler, but you'll notice it in the afternoons when the temperatures are just about 5 to 10 degrees cooler. Then in the mornings, we're in the upper 40s, but there is going to be some storminess with this front. Typically this time of year, people see that cold, warm contrast and they think severe weather right away. Remember, it's not the cold and warm air clashing. It's the other things that come with the cold air and warm air, which is typically warm, humid air at the surface, and then eventually strong winds in the upper and mid levels of the atmosphere. We just don't have those other ingredients. We have the cold and warm air, but the other ingredients aren't there. So the overall severe weather risk today is relatively low. But you could see we do have that line of storms developing right along the front, beginning to move into the mountains. And if you look back to the west, you could see a rather dramatic drop in temperatures behind the front. So it will be noticeable as we go into the afternoon and evening hours as we start to see those showers and storms move in with much cooler temperatures. So let me turn off the temperatures real quickly here, and we'll show you that severe weather outlook today just ahead of that front. I'm going to show you the day one severe weather outlook, and you can see the area shaded in yellow. That is the lowest risk we have, and it's at the very low end of this risk. 5% chance of a gusty thunderstorm as this front pushes to the east. We could see that develop in the afternoon. And when I show you futurecasts, you're really going to notice how these are going to be really scattered. Some of you might not see rain at all. So let's get right to the details. So the details of this front moving in, you can see we're starting at 11 a.m. here as I record this. We'll go into time. I'll stop this around 2 p.m. and you can see some isolated to scattered storms. Now, one or two of these could become severe. I would not be surprised to see a gusty thunderstorm develop in one of these cells. Tornado threat is very, very low, less than 1%. Actually, our biggest risk is probably going to be straight line winds. But I'll tell you, the other thing we got to watch out for is maybe a little bit of hail. This is a little bit better of a hail setup today. And again, I'm not talking huge hail, but there could be some small hail with these. By 3 o'clock, you see the broken line pushing east. By 4 o'clock. And again, in those thunderstorms themselves, there's probably going to be some very heavy rain, some small hail and gusty winds. But some folks will completely miss out on this as this front pushes off to the east. And you can see by 8 p.m., the front moves through and the colder air pushes off to the east. So let's replay that. I'll play the whole thing again. There we go. The next 18 hours as that pushes through towards the east. The overall risk, again, is low. But as I mentioned, let's go a little bit closer. When you see the Futurecast radar show these really bright returns, that like right there near Camden and Pinehurst, there a couple of those could have some hail in them. Just looking at the soundings of the upper atmosphere, there is some slightly drier air up there. So an organized storm that gets going could produce some small hail. So again, the overall risk for severe today ahead of this line is relatively small. Again, I'll put it about 1%. You can see it pushing off to the east. That's the overall risk. Probability of tornado, less than 1%, so you don't see anything. Probability of hail, you could see the little 5% in that brown. And here's the probability of wind, 5% in brown. So that kind of gives you the kind of idea on what we expect to happen later this afternoon as this line moves through. And again, the timing, think peak heating of the day, 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon. That's the one thing that has going for it. We will have plenty of instability, it looks like, for this front. Not as much as we normally would. We just don't have the wind shear and the depth of that thunderstorm fuel to get widespread storms developing late this afternoon. So not a day I would say to be weather aware, but just keep an eye on some of those storms. Of course, if there's any warnings that pop up, you'll see them on my Twitter feed, my Instagram, and Facebook as soon as it happens. Have a great day, everybody. We'll have you covered throughout the afternoon.